Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There is Tammy car enthusiast and Dave's fiance, Dustin reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are Inside Movies Galore. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
To heal.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Inside Movies Galore. I am one of your hosts, but we are starting a entirely different month, and I'm just going to go over to my fiance here and ask her what she entitled or titled this month, since it was her choice to give us a theme for this month. So, what did you choose?
Awesome August 80s.
Alrighty. So, so for the first choice, I do believe that Brandon chose this movie, at least for that was chosen. So, Brandon, what movie did you bring to the table that you subjected us to?
Yeah, oddly enough, it's interesting because we actually have this going back in time. So we're going back through the 80s, starting in late 80s and going back to the early 80s. So we're starting here with 1989's UHF, directed by Jay Levey. And, with one of the few movies that Weird Al actually has acted in, and I think the only one that he starred in.
Mm-hmm. I actually wonder if the director is connected to Eugene Levy in any shape or form.
Well, it's spelled very differently. He and apparently he and Weird Al are old buds, like from what I understand.
I want to say he helped him get his records and stuff like that produced, but I can't remember.
It's his manager, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's his manager.
Yeah.
So essentially, UHF is about an unemployed visionary who becomes the manager of a local UHF station. And this station becomes a success with all sorts of hilarious sight gags and wacky humor. Now, a UHF station, for those who don't know, is a special TV station, and they still exist these days, apparently. I looked it up. Apparently they do. Where you have these radio towers, and they send signals one way. And they work pretty good in flatlands, but mountains kind of screw them up. So they're fairly weak stations. They're usually higher on the list of channels. Well, like this is a good example of channel 62. Now that might be something that a lot of our younger viewers aren't as familiar with. So it is better than a cable access station. but it is worse than a big network station when it comes to strength of signal. So, with that being said, let us go around and see who has seen this and who has not. So, Dave, was this your first time with UHF?
It was, in fact, I had never seen this before, though I recognize many of the actors and actresses. A lot of them are TV personalities. I know this is definitely Kramer before he was on Seinfeld. He definitely looks younger.
Yeah.
But that being as said, wasn't sure how I'd feel. I know how much of a nerd Weird Al is in person, but when it comes to his music videos, he really gets into them. So, as an artist, I respect him a lot for the things that he has done. As an actor, I feel like his acting is kind of wooden to me, rough around the edges. But as this is his only feature that he has ever really been featured in, I'll forgive him for that.
Well, you could argue he was featured a little bit in Weird, but it was just a small role. But and was it Spy Hard that he had a supporting role in?
He's had a couple of movies where he's been in movies. I think he was in Tape Heads and a few others. But he was but his only starring role was this. I mean, he was in Naked Gun 33 and a Third.
That's one I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the only one that he's headlined. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. If I had seen this like when it came out, or maybe a couple years afterwards, maybe I might have some nostalgia for it. Although, I did recognize what movies that he spoofed in here. Specifically Indiana Jones in the very beginning. But you could definitely tell, since it was written by both him and Jay Levey, that there was a bit of humor behind this, for sure. So, I guess I enjoyed it for the most part. It had some funny moments. So yeah. And I do think that this qualifies for the type of thing that Tammy wanted to have happen. So,
all right. Well, I guess we will go on to the next one, which is let's see, on the next lineup. Tammy, was this your first time seeing UHF?
Yes, it was. I didn't know anybody that was in it until they started telling say it, and I was like, oh boy, this ought to be interesting with Weird Al in it. Yeah, it was. I thought it was quite funny. There was a lot of parodies in it, which is not surprising considering what Weird Al usually does with music, So all the parodies were not, like I said, that was not surprising. I thought it was funny. It was definitely unique to see, and I don't know his real name, but Kramer younger,
Yeah.
and Fran definitely was younger here.
Yeah.
She didn't have quite as much of the whine that we hear in The Nanny, but
Mr. Sheffield.
but
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was amusing. I thought it was like a good fun comedy type of movie. So I'm glad I got to see it because I think Brandon's made mention of it before before today. So never did know what he was talking about. So now I do.
Yep.
Oh, yes, I do remember. I do remember those channels. When something, before there was cable and all that, you'd sit there. They keep turning the dial. Is there something gonna come on? Something gonna come on? Something gonna come on? So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
they were.
I thought it was fun.
All right. Well, how about you, Jake? Was that your first time watching UHF?
It was not. Now, I will admit that I probably did not hear about this when it came out. Even when I started to become more familiar with Weird Al at all, I know my youngest brother, way back in the day. I think it was when Bad Hair Day came out that he got the album. He was really into it. And this was back, for you kiddies out there, back in the day before streaming, even before torrents, really. And we didn't have cable, so we did not have MTV or VH1. I don't know how he got a hold of this, but he had a tape of a special that they did where they did a bunch of Weird Al's videos paired with the original videos, which would be really awesome. I know there's to be some licensing things, but I kind of wish that we could get an official release of something like that out there. But one of the videos they had on there was Money for Nothing Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea that was lifted directly from this movie. So I guess this was my first taste of the movie, was that video maybe, but I had no idea at the time. And I know Brandon loves this movie. He's talked about it many, many times. And I'm about 90% certain, Brandon, that you showed this to me probably as part of the movie game. It was probably one of the first ones you did.
It's one of those that if I knew that you hadn't seen it, it would be like, oh,
Yeah.
no, we got to rectify that.
Yeah. I feel like this was probably one of your first selections if you didn't show it to me before we even started doing that. Have I seen it since then? Probably not. I had completely forgotten Michael Richards stars in it. I had completely forgotten Fran Drescher stars in it. Seeing both of them so much younger was pretty amusing and interesting. I don't really watch General Hospital, so I think the guy that plays Philo was a star on that show. So I don't really know. But I've seen Kevin McCarthy and other things, but I couldn't tell you what. He reminds me a little bit of Stacy Keach.
He's definitely a name. He is definitely a name acting-wise.
And I've seen David Bowie in some things. Now, I will admit, I'm disappointed that it wasn't David Bowie.
That'd have been a
He
very
would have
different take on that part. If
Well,
David
I mean,
Bowie
I
was
could
role,
see
it would
Bowie
be-
being in a movie like this at that point in his career. You know what I mean?
I
I mean, this was right before he did that Twin Peaks movie, so you know.
can you imagine David Bowie doing the Boppo the Clown thing?
Oh, you would have like the Bobo. What was his name? That character was Bob. Yeah,
Yep.
Bob. Bob, you could see him looking murder at George after that. I can imagine Bowie. George would have withered on the spot. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And I understand, unfortunately, as far as the cast, that Trinidad Silva, our animal lover, apparently was killed during the middle of production. So that's unfortunate. I guess the movie's dedicated to him. But he was amusing in his short role. Disturbing, but amusing. And that's a good way to describe the movie overall. Weird Al has an arch.
He did not kill any pooches.
No animals were
Threw him
harmed.
out the window. Threw him out the window. But anyway, Weird Al has a very arch sense of humor. It is very nerdy, as Dave pointed out. And actually, IMDb pointed out something that I didn't realize. Word Crimes, one of my absolute favorite songs he ever did, which has a very amusing video. The video has a couple of Easter eggs referencing this movie, which I did not realize until I saw that pointed out. But I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. But Word Crimes is like the ultimate. That and White and Nerdy and a couple others are like, he definitely has his nerd cred if he needs it. But he and everyone loves him. Like he's apparently is. Last week I came across a video of him and Jean Baptiste riffing off each other, and that was really cool. But like he has an arch sense of humor, and I could see why Brandon likes him so much because it's very odd and can be disturbing, but it's almost never malicious. And I think that's one of the reasons why even some of his stuff that hasn't aged so well, people tend to still look fondly on.
Yeah.
And as far as stuff that hasn't aged so well, given Michael Richards' reputation over the last couple decades, first of all, he's playing a character who appears to be developmentally challenged. That's not something that would have flown in a movie made today. But Richards really comes across as likable, and he's the star of the station for a reason. His character, Stanley, I think, is so just unassuming and likable, and he's a hard worker. And you know, when Weird Al, when George gives him a daily show, he's like, "Can I still be the janitor?"
I don't
You
think
know,
they don't play
and
it
it is
the
interesting
same
that it is interesting that this was just before Seinfeld started. So this is like literally is like the prelude to Kramer, and Kramer could be a jerk. He could be a jerk. This guy has none of that. But the manic physicality is there, and whatever you think about him as a person, he has that. The physical comedy is there. So that was one thing that maybe didn't age as well or doesn't hit the same way as it used to. But you know, as I think Dave pointed out, Fran Drescher is much less annoying here than she usually is, which is she's actually kind of likable in this one. And then the evil guy is, oh my God, he's evil. And apparently they kept telling him to be more and more evil to the point where he had time keeping a straight face.
I can see him saying maniacal laugh.
There's,
Maniacal laugh.
actually, there is a part during one of those scenes where you can actually see Victoria Jackson, where she's supposed to be hurt and broken up, but you can tell she's actually trying to keep from breaking up and laughing.
Right. And I think that was the scene where George came off as an Uber stalker. But anyway, but long and short of it is, it's a fun movie. I think Dave made the point, and I agree with it. Had I grown up with this, I would almost surely have a different take on it, because it really feels like the kind of movie that you could be extremely nostalgic for. If I had grown up with this, I probably would have tremendous nostalgia. But having only seen it a couple of times, that's not there. But I can appreciate it and enjoy it on its own. And I guess that's all I have to say about that for the time being.
So, it was interesting. One of the things that I was seeing, watched a behind the scenes, it was very brief. It was about them making the Wheel of Fish scene.
Oh, yeah. I wrote something about
was just going around handing out all the fish to
that looked like real fish.
And I should also mention that I think that was the scene, was it? That Brandon loves to play that clip of, "You're so stupid,"
Exactly.
which also probably would not fly in today's, as much, but it was kind of fun.
And there was something that he had said, like, that scene doesn't necessarily hold up, but the fact that the guy is basically going around calling other people stupid is some part, it helps a little bit.
Right.
Because he's the one who, he's the one that's frustrated with them being slow.
When you were talking about bonus effects, it reminded me of one last thing I was going to say, which was, given that the Arrow sale is going on right now, this is a movie that needs the Arrow treatment. I could absolutely see that. Like, Criterion would be fun, but it feels more like an Arrow movie. But
yeah, I have the 25th anniversary Shout release.
Okay, good times.
Which is what I upgraded my DVD for.
Okay.
The one of the things Weird Al had said, and I agree with this, before I go to my first impression of it, is that he really didn't care as much about the plot. The plot is generic. And he says he knows it's generic. He knows it's not really all that great. He said it wasn't about the plot. He needed a vehicle to throw in a bunch of parodies.
Yeah.
And it worked in that case. Because the parodies are what makes this film great, in my opinion.
I am mildly surprised that there weren't more musical parodies involved, like I mean, again, that Beverly Hillbillies was an actual scene, which is very interesting.
Yeah, and it was Dire Straits music video that he had transported himself into.
I read that one of the conditions for him doing that was Mark Knopfler wanted to do the guitar riff himself. So that's kind of interesting, but yeah, I saw that and I was like, wait, this comes from this movie? What? And for the rest, I was like, were there any more of these? And then we got to the end of the movie. No, I guess it was just the one.
Yeah, I mean, UHF did have a music video, but it was separate. But also including the special features of the Blu-ray, which you would expect that though. So with me, it's interesting because for this film and me, it's more like the history about me and Weird Al. Because when I was a kid, I wasn't big into different music bands. I mean, I listened to Chipmunks when I was in elementary school, but that was about, and the Beatles, some. But that was about the extent of what I listened to music-wise, other than what my parents would put on the car. So I would hear a little bit of Elvis. I'd hear like I say, the Beatles mostly, Sgt. Pepper's. We talked about this on the Yellow Submarine.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the soundtrack to Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I'd hear that a lot, too.
Of course.
So in 7th grade, we took a field trip. It was the big thing because we would take a week-long field trip to Williamsburg, which, you know, for people who grew up where I was, that was huge because, you know, we lived nowhere, essentially. So, of course, we would go and we have our little Walkmans and stuff like that. And for those of you who are young, Walkman is, I was going to say like a Discman, but that's also dating. A Walkman is basically a portable player. Where it just plays music and it plays cassette tapes.
Right.
So my best friend at the time was really into Weird Al Yankovic, and he introduced me to it by introducing me to the album Even Worse, which was my first exposure to Weird Al. By the time we were at the end of the trip, I had that whole album memorized, and I was just slowly buying up all the cassettes, and then I realized that there was a movie, and I had to find that. When I found it, because my father had the movie channels, and I had to tape it, and I watched it over and over and over again. When I found out there was a soundtrack, about the soundtrack, I listened to it over and over and over again, because that's how I was with stuff I liked. And I have a deep fondness of this. I understand people who don't necessarily, because Weird Al's humor is not for everyone. But I have a very weird sense of humor. I mean, most of y'all have known me long enough to know that. I like strange stuff and even slightly mean when it comes to it. Not like cruel, but stuff like the poodles how to fly thing that got me chuckling when it shouldn't have.
Well, they're poodles. If he'd been throwing the turtles out the window, I would have had issues with that.
No, they're nature's touches. But you know, and again, I really liked almost all the characters. I thought it was a fun thing. I had mixed up Kevin McCarthy with Ted Knight for some reason. That's
who I was thinking of. Ted Knight. That's what I thought it was originally.
I'd also watched Caddyshack a lot around that time, and Ted Knight was the villain in Caddyshack.
Yeah.
And he also did a pretty good job of being a pretty over-the-top villain.
This guy's like the love child of Ted Knight and Stacy Keach.
So to me, this one has a lot of nostalgia for it. And I haven't watched it in years. I think the time I showed it to Jacob was the last time I watched it, because I hadn't even opened up my Blu-ray copy of it. And but when I was listening to it, I was like, I must have really loved this when I watched it, because it was one of those that I was able to, you've watched a movie enough that you can just like read back the lines of every scene as they're saying them. That's how well I knew this movie. So to me, it's a special film. And when we did the 80s, I couldn't think of a film that helped with that more than this film. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Wow. So we're going to just do this in, I'm going to take chunks of it, and then we'll come back and review stuff from those chunks. So the first chunk is the Indiana Jones scene. And this film has one thing. It's a good film to watch over and over again, because there's little itty bits that you catch if you didn't catch it the first time. Like I always love where they have the scene where the guy pulls the gun on him and he pulls out the whip and just whips the dude's arm off.
Right.
But essentially the idea is he's going in and he's trying to liberate an Oscar from the lost temple.
I did like that the Oscar was the idol he was after.
So with that being said, I'm not going to go into little details. I'm just going to ask y'all what y'all's thoughts on that were, because it's a good. To tell you the truth, it was pretty much a good introduction to his humor and comedy form, because it doesn't slow you into it. It goes right into that crazy sense of comedy and humor. I mean, from that,
one other little detail
on the train.
Yeah, one other detail about that scene that I love was like when he grabs the idol, and you know what's coming if you've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, and you see that sign behind him that says "Danger, Falling Rocks." It's like,
I like that he's doing the thing where Indiana Jones in the movie switches the idol for the bag to keep the weight. He just tosses the bag aside and takes the idol.
Well, he does. He takes out a little bit of sand, and then a little bit of sand, and then he's like, screw it.
But what do y'all think of this scene?
I felt it was funny because then, like, even the when they first entered, like, the cave or whatever, the first scene, and it showed that marking on the wall or whatever, and the guy is like, "Oh, that's a depiction of whatever, and it's just like, it didn't look scary at all. It looked funny, this thing on the wall on the cave or whatever, this drawing. It looked like a big gold coin, like with that. And I was like, he looks at this, and the guy's like, "Oh, that's an ancient da 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 da," and I'm like, "The heck."
Look,
So, like, that doesn't look very ancient, and it was amusing how the ball, the rock,
this falls him.
yeah,
Yes.
it's a totally completely round, and it follows him everywhere.
Yeah, it does some impossibility moves too. Like, it would just continue to roll past him. Instead, it turned a corner and followed his ass.
And as you said, everywhere. It's like this guy. You kind of feel that he has like Ryoga's sense of direction, or Zoro's, like, just keeps ending up in completely random ways. He goes by the Sphinx, and then he's like going through a snowy. He goes by an English estate.
Yeah, those are all pictures. Like, you can tell those are all pictures, like, right behind him.
Well, yeah. It's but it is kind of amusing. He definitely got a step in on that.
He had said that one of the things that inspired him was Life of Walter Mitty. Of course, not the movie, because the movie hadn't come out by that point, but of course the original work. And you could definitely see that in this. Then there's also he's got Monty Python, SCTV, stuff like that, were also big influences. But I can see all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Which Life of Walter Mitty is actually, in my opinion, underrated movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not one that people talk about in circles.
There were two of them, weren't there? One, the Ben Stiller one, was a remake, right?
Yeah, I think so, but I can't. I know it was originally a literal work, literary work. The stuff that's written down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of the scenes that always struck one of my best friends at the time as funny, and I actually also find it funny. So he's sitting there, he's running after that. I mean, first off, you got the sign that says "Warning: Severe Tire Damage" on there, but also where he's running with the thing, and this huge boulder just hits him in the head, and he's like, "Oof!" and then he just keeps moving. But once he gets crushed by the boulder, it then transitions to the flat top, as he and his friend, his best friend Bob, are working at a fast food place, and it turns out that they definitely do not do well. They get fired for multiple reasons.
Well, his friend chastises him for spacing out at work, and while he's trying to defend himself, he accidentally attacks customers with mustard. The fries are blackened. Oh, I think the fries are ready.
I think the fries are about done. Again, why are you so afraid of that miserable tub of lard? Just walking behind him.
Well, considering how far she flung them, I think they had a right to be concerned.
Well, Bob was rightly afraid of Big Edna. And apparently she owned that place. If you notice on the sign, it actually says Big Edna's Burger World on the sign. This is actually one of the few movies I could actually remember well enough to quote. It's anything in recent memory ain't gonna do shit. But this one's been watched enough that it's been locked into long term.
Well, also your brain works differently when you're younger. I think most of us would have an easier time quoting movies we grew up with.
Yeah, true. But essentially, the whole of it, they go from this to the to where they live, which is in the karate dojo, and the apartment next to that. So we get to see Cooney and the start of the stupid. You're so stupid. Actually, was like, this is beginner's week, George. They're so stupid, and then they throw them out the window.
Yeah.
But and we get to see the Twinkie Wiener sandwich. A great delicacy. I was talking to Dave and Tammy about this before you came on. So how many people here have had a Twinkie Wiener sandwich?
Never.
I say that I have.
I did try it once because I was curious. I really hated the spray cheese, which again, that's something that most young people have never experienced, and they are lucky never to have experienced.
Right. Like Cheese Whiz or whatever?
Yeah, Cheese Whiz, essentially. That stuff was nasty.
Yeah.
I've never tasted anything so fake tasting. Then they used to have hot dogs that had Cheese Whiz inside them, which was makes me gag even remembering those. So the Twinkie Wiener sandwich is made by cutting a Twinkie long ways, putting a hot dog in there, and then spraying Cheese Whiz on the top. So, and I will say it's not as bad as it looks. No, this was something I tried probably close to 30 years ago. So, grain of salt. But in case any of y'all want to do it, I mean, good luck trying to find the spray like Cheese Whiz. But but essentially the whole idea is they're explaining the situation that they've been going job to job to job, and Al realizes he's late with his date with Terry, which he has to explain to her. And we have Close Encounters of the Third Kind reference, which is probably one of the most obscure references in this movie. It wasn't at the time, maybe, but it was starting to get obscure for the time.
Yeah, I'm sure most Spielberg diehards would know it in a heartbeat, but otherwise, yeah.
Because when was Close Encounters? That was
78, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was old when this movie was out.
I believe that was Spielberg's follow-up to Jaws. Like it was pretty.
Where he's doing the potatoes, and he's like, "This means something."
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes, my favorite.
Now, I do have to say, one of the biggest issues I had with George as a character was he doesn't treat Terry all that well.
No.
He's always forgetting about her, and it's no wonder she gets pissed. But
And I know,
Yeah.
Dave, you had talked about Weird Al, that his acting is poor in this.
Yeah.
Really and truly, it's not that his acting is poor, it's that he is acting like Al. It's Weird Al as George, because that's exactly the kind of the way that he would do his stuff. If you looked at old interviews, or what was it, that thing that the mockumentary that he made, the something Al, the
well, you talking about weird?
no, this is long before that.
Oh.
This is a mockumentary, not the
Ah.
the complete Al. The complete Al. That's
Okay.
I mean, you can tell, like, he does that thing where he's like, he'll talk normal, then he'll start just yelling, where he's like, I don't know what is wrong with me. He's like, bam, bam, and he's hitting his head on the desk.
I also sorry.
Or like he took the crowbar with Bob. He's like, just bash my head right in. Just bash it in, you know.
I would also agree. Like, I don't know that I wouldn't call him wooden. It was definitely not a naturalistic performance. It was definitely exaggerated. And I will admit there were times where it was a little too exaggerated, and that did kind of take me out of it a little bit. It wasn't the kind of performance I would put forward as, oh, this is an Oscar-worthy performance. But I think it was good for what they were probably going for, you know? But
any other thoughts about the stuff between them getting kicked out of Burger World and the date with Terry? Well, the home date with Terry, not the one that he misses later.
The one, yeah.
The one at her home.
No, I think you can tell that this movie is beginning the whole transcending to how they got involved with the UHF radio station to begin with. Of course, they start with a fast food job, which everybody here has at least worked in the food industry.
yeah.
And we have all worked for bosses we don't not like. So I imagine that if we did the same thing, we would get fired too. But
in all probability.
Maybe.
No matter what, it turned their lives upside down.
Well, one thing that I don't know if it was mentioned, but while Bob is chastising George, we learned that apparently they have been fired from a succession of jobs within a very short period of time.
And it is all George's fault.
Pretty much.
Yep, and he takes his best friend with him every time.
Yep.
Yep, and
What
I
a
think
thing
his
for-
best friend is getting fed up with it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, we
But-
also, you know, you were talking about like the lead up to the station. We should probably mention that we are also introduced to his uncle, who is apparently got a gambling issue.
yeah, the next part of it, we're at a party with his aunt and uncle, and and his aunt's trying to cheer him up and all this stuff, and then of course his uncle, however, they introduced him, and he's this kind of sleazy gambling guy. He gets his call in from from his I guess
Was it Big Louie? I guess was what they call
yeah,
him.
and he's like, yes, your horses all came in. He's like, excellent. You know, he's this big gambling guy.
Yeah, he's on a winning streak in the very beginning.
Yeah.
So
Pretty good winning streak. He walks out of that poker game with a real, what do they call that thing?
a deed.
No, well that, but I was like that wad of cash, like what is it, pimp stack or whatever is what they. But yeah, he also had that deed that he thought was worthless, but then his aunt, the aunt gets an idea.
I do find it interesting that one of the things that they do is he mentions like that she mentions that we could have George run it, and then it shows him trying to feed the dog from the punch bowl and then putting the dog in the punch bowl, like giving us all more confidence in his ability to obviously do this work.
And then when they call him over, he just throws the dog in the punch bowl. As you do.
They literally named the literal name they gave the kid who did this is Little Weasel. The one that's a shop you little weasel. I thought that was funny. I was looking up just to double check because my mind forgot the name of the I guess the gangster that he has. But there might as well be, because I keep thinking
Big Louie.
Big Louie, yeah. Because he always reminded me of Dr. Claw because he had a hand that he unscrewed. He put on like the cleaver later on.
Inspector Gadget.
Yeah. He reminded me of Dr. Claw.
Right.
But so he gives them the station to manage. And so they drive to the station at night, which is very creepy, as he and Bob are looking at the station and they meet Philo, which we have a very fun little experiment where he takes quite a bit of an electrical shock.
It was essentially, here, hold this a second.
Nope. You got to spread them apart like this. I just want to see if my interocitor can take a shock of 10,000 volts. But it's a very odd-looking UHF station if you go in there. Very creepy on the inside.
Oh, wow. That guy has been in close to 2,000 episodes of General Hospital right up until 2017. That's a lot of episodes.
Of course, they're playing Mr. Ed in the background, too.
Yeah.
But they do come back around during the day where they do meet Fran Drescher. And I'll admit, her line in this does amuse me, where she just shows how pissed off she is because her original employer had promised her a quick promotion to the news, but she keeps missing the promotion because every few weeks she has a new boss.
Which I don't think she got the reaction that she had anticipated on at that time.
I also find it hilarious that she's like, they do all this, she gets all mad. And it's like, oh, and this is Bob. She's like, oh, hello, and just shakes his hand. I thought the comedic timing on that was pretty good because they examine it, they find out that it's a bunch of like reruns and kind of crap on there. But what do y'all think about the initial introduction of the station?
Well, it's about what you can expect. The uncle had said that it was on the verge of bankruptcy. What he neglected to say is not only was it on the verge of bankruptcy, but it was on the verge of vagrancy.
Oh yeah. Speaking of vagrants, we also have the guy who is the change guy.
Yeah.
Which I want to say is Noodles.
No, I think Noodles.
No.
I thought he was the camera guy.
Noodles was the
Noodles
camera guy, and that was played by Billy Barty.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy Barty, the young. I'm trying to think of the. They don't really give his name out, other than Change Guy.
Is that
which
what they
Billy
call it?
Barty has played in many movies,
Yeah.
including a Snow White musical as Rumpelstiltskin in a musical,
Well,
and also the original Masters of the Universe.
But we do get to see him a little bit later. But we also have the introduction to our main villains, which is Channel 8 and R.J. Fletcher, because they get a package that's sent to them by mistake. And so George's like, yeah, I'm just going to do it so we can meet the competition. And you get to see R.J. Fletcher is quite an angry man.
Yeah.
Where he is just talking. He's in a board meeting and he's angry about these files that have been misplaced. So he calls in Stanley, the janitor, who is played by Michael Richards, the not so spotless Michael Richards these days. And he just basically accuses him of throwing out the important files. So he just fires him right away. And then he realizes he was sitting on it. And he just makes a joke out of it and laughs as one of his employees is just fired for no reason.
And one of his employees is a kissing ass son of his.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at. He's played by John Paragon. Several of these people have passed away recently, and he's one of them. But apparently, his first ever credit was Cheech and Chong's next movie, followed by a stint on the Pee Wee Herman show, and his last credit was Pee Wee's Big Holiday. So it's kind of a
that wasn't that long ago. He must not have passed that long ago.
Yeah, 21's was said. The apparently what was his name? Anthony Geary Philo apparently died last year. He's much more recent. But
well, he didn't die. He went back to his home planet.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, this is the time where George actually shows up. And just says, "Hey, RJ!" Everything stops, including the phone calls. Even the phone stops, which is a hilarious thing. I didn't notice that the first time. A couple times I watched it, but then somebody pointed it out to me probably about 20 some years ago, and I've noticed it ever since. That even the phone stopped ringing.
Everyone's so shocked that he would be so informal with this guy.
But, which at first RJ decides to go and fire him, and then when he does trespassing, eh? And you can see his smile, like, I'm going to get someone arrested. Gives him 10 seconds to leave and has him running out the door, where he runs into Stanley, where they're taking his mop. That kind of makes you really sad for his childhood, considering that mop was given to him when he was really young.
Well, supposedly that was a direct reference to, like, he said he got it when he was 8. Yeah. That was like a direct reference to Weird Al getting his first accordion at 8. But
but Al does offer him a job. George offers him a job at the station. He's all happy about that. And I want to say that's when we get our first.
I was just thinking that his name is George Newman.
Yeah.
In Seinfeld, there were two different people. One was George, and one was Newman. And Newman was played by the fat guy from Jurassic Park. So,
well, if you want another Seinfeld connection, according to IMDb, the role that went to David Bowe, the role of Bob, I think was the one I read. I think I'm remembering this correctly. That was the role that they offered to Jerry Seinfeld, and he turned it down. that would have been a very different movie.
Yeah, definitely a
I think
different movie.
Seinfeld also didn't want to play that clown in this next scene.
Yeah.
Because we did actually see the what was it the Funhouse episode. Oh, Nutsy's Funhouse.
we talk about there is a discussion where they talk about the need for live programming.
Yeah, I mean, he mentions it because they are talking about all the reruns.
Yeah.
So you could really use with more live shows. But it's very brief at that point. They don't even talk about the bankruptcy thing just yet.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen until the breakup thing.
Yeah.
But we get to see at least one of the few live shows. We have a kid show called Uncle Nutsy's Funhouse. And Al plays a very good, high energy, kids character. And
unfortunately, that energy was not infectious to the audience.
No.
I mean, one of the kids, Billy, spits on him as he's in there. So they introduce the clown, which I've got to say, that's got to be one of the that definitely hits the kind of almost mean sense of humor. It's like, okay, look up, look down, now look at Mr. Frying Pan.
And according to what I read, he wasn't supposed to hit him, but he did. And yeah.
Now the mix-up was hilarious, though, where he's doing the commercial spot where it's supposed to be Mrs. Hockenberger's butter cookies. It ends up getting him the dog treats. And it was like, and everybody, just look at how much Bob here likes. You see the reaction on his face when he said the first one. He was like, what the heck?
And speaking of commercials, it was around this time, wasn't it, that we got the Spatula City commercial?
I think after that one, yeah. But
that was crazy. It's like,
I always like that scene where it's like, he's just like, and Mrs. Hockenberger. Uh-oh. He just had a little laugh. Paul's been eating Yappy's dog treats. That's right. Yappy's dog treats. Your dog will love that liver and what was it? That cheddar and liver taste. That liver taste with a hint of cheese as he throws up. But yeah, Spatula City was one of my favorites as well because it sells only spatulas.
I have to say, these are some very, very deprived, one might say depraved, but definitely deprived individuals if they get that excited about spatulas.
It's like, they make great Christmas presents. And what better way to say I love you than with the gift of a spatula?
Right.
And all the kids are bouncing up and down the seats because they're like so excited to get spatulas. But what did the rest of y'all think about these initial? Actually, you know what? I'll cover one other commercial because it also airs around the same time. Is they have the crazy, God, what was his name? Crazy something's cars.
Was it Crazy Eddie?
He's like, I'll club this seal to make a deal because I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I got red cars. I got blue cars. I got enough cars to choke a camel. But what did y'all think about these? The way that they actually shot some of these, it's a little inconsistent. Mm-hmm. But in some of these, they shoot it like it's actually playing on the TV with the scan lines and all that. Yeah. In some places, they don't. And I'm not sure whether that inconsistency works or not. Mm-hmm. But it is interesting.
I had a little harder time I got thrown out of the movie a couple of times literally during the commercials because Tubi decided to use those to air their own commercials. And so it would interrupt the commercials to play commercials, and it was like, but which I guess that makes sense. But Yeah, that was. I didn't notice that. Maybe next time I watch it, I'll try to remember. But
Yeah, because sometimes they'll show it to where it looks like it's actually they put up a little TV with the knobs and stuff and have it playing. Sometimes they'll put the scan lines up close, which really doesn't do very good for the picture. And sometimes it'll just be clear, regular. So it's kind of a weird inconsistency. But what did y'all think of the actual commercials and the Nutsies Funhouse? I mean, to me, the whole joke with Bobo the Clown does still bring a lot of laughs for me. And Spatula City is a favorite.
It was interesting. It was awkward and strained, but it was supposed to be. I do love the commercials, and again, the Spatula City is one of my favorite ones. But talking about awkward and strained, apparently another person they approached or who auditioned was Crispin Glover, and I read that he wanted to play the guy doing the car commercial, and they were like, "No, well, you're not right for the role." But imagine Crispin Glover saying he would club a seal. That would feel very different.
What about you, Dave, Tammy? Did y'all have anything to say on those?
I couldn't believe the commercial about the spatulas. I'm like, you got to be kidding. And they're talking about the whole store of spatulas, and I'm like, and I'm, of course, you're watching the whole commercial, and it's just like, really?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that if Dave had given you a spatula as a romantic gift, you wouldn't have melted for that?
I'd hit him with it, yeah.
A store like that would almost certainly have a set of spatulas for your car.
Well, there is one thing that is of truth to that type of store, is that type of store would definitely be having a liquidation sale, which is what they were doing. But it was a terrible liquidation sale. Buy 8 spatulas, get the 9th for just 1 penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm buying that many spatulas, I do not understand.
I better get one for one or at least 2 for free.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
The when he was eating the dog, I noticed it right away though when he gave him when he was holding the box and he gave him the first one. I'm like, he just gave him a dog biscuit.
Right.
And I'm listening to him because I thought maybe it was something that was supposed to look like a dog biscuit, because there's graham crackers out there. It's a box of graham cracker things, and they say Scooby Snacks on them, and they are people food. They just look like, little. Yeah. They look like a little bone, but it's a graham cracker, okay?
You could tell he grabbed the wrong box.
I thought it was something weird like that, And it was like, oh, no, those are really dog biscuits. Oh, okay, this is not. Yeah.
You could definitely tell the look on his face when he took the first bite that this was not a butter.
Yeah, that wasn't a graham. Yeah, it wasn't a graham cracker either,
No, it was not.
But we also get introduction to the other live action show, Town Talk, with comedian Emo Phillips, which I did not like this character or this comedian, and this is exactly the same style of comedy he does stand up, because I did watch a few of his stand-ups where he is playing a carpenter, but he accidentally cuts his thumb off with the table saw.
Oh, him?
With his
I'm red in the face.
Like this table saw.
Is my face red?
Yeah.
Is my face red?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you can see the cameraman going, "What the?"
Apparently, that was something they had to cut down for the censors, but oh well.
Look at that. I will say this: the comedian was obviously having fun with the squirting thumb gag thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we also then
glad we didn't have more of him.
We do go to the news, where we get to see Fran Drescher has been given a news anchor job, and of course we get to be introduced to Noodles, who is the cameraman.
Mm-hmm.
And we do see how it could be a little bit awkward. I do like how Philo's watching it, and he's trying to turn his head as Noodles is trying to follow her.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, he gets tripped by, of course, the son of RJ, who is their anchor. And he's like, oh, did I do that? Whoopsie. These things are fragile. Yeah, take care of them. His assistant, who is obviously a mobster the way that he talks. I think it's the one that David Proval plays, the head thug.
Yeah, and he's been on Seinfeld, and everybody loves Raymond.
I feel like I've seen him on a few things as well. But yeah, is that all he's known as? Is head thug?
That's what it says here on IMDb. But
yeah, I think you're right.
He
was in Mean Streets. Okay, well there you go. That's a big role there.
I think it's during a newscast that they actually do show Terry and her job, which is as either a dental hygienist or a dentist herself.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, they do this special bulletin where he is basically saying, "We'll go." It's like, "Happy birthday!" We'll do this, or she is embarrassed.
Yeah.
He hurts her poor patient.
Mm-hmm.
But so he sets up a dinner at this fancy French restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But with the news report and having to cover that, they're looking at the books and they're realizing that they are screwed financially. They got like until the end of the week, essentially. They're going to be
they're going to be broke, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he realizes a bit too late that he is late again. And she's done with him, and she ends up breaking up with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's a downside for it, but it leads to something good, because we get a very interesting version of the Uncle Nutsy's Funhouse, where he is definitely not in his happy manic mood.
Right.
I mean, where one of the kids like, "I want to go home." "Shut up, you little weasel." Which, of course, they named that kid Little Weasel as the character.
Yeah.
But I love his description of the Roadrunner Coyote cartoons, because I actually, even back then, I agreed with them, because I considered them. That I never liked them, and I never liked Tom and Jerry, because I always felt like they were unusually cruel. He's like, he stomps on him, he laughs at him, he's repeatedly crushed and maimed. I hope you enjoy it.
I never liked the Roadrunner ones either. For basically the same reason, I guess. But I like Tom and Jerry, because at least, I don't know, I think Tom and Jerry was at least a little bit more amusing to watch them, and they interacted a little bit better with each other than Roadrunner, where he's just chasing them and something happens to him. Then he chases them and something happens to him. You know what I mean? So I'm still not the biggest fan of Roadrunner, but I do like Tom and Jerry.
They fight.
Yeah, Wile E. Coyote never wins.
Mm-hmm.
Fight. Well, we do have Coyote versus Acme that is coming out. It is going to come out. So that's kind of good.
Yeah, I want to see that.
But I was more of a Bugs Bunny person when it came to my Looney Tunes.
Well, I like Bugs Bunny. That's my favorite too. But that was my favorite. But I just never really got into the Roadrunner that much. But I'm interested in the movie that's coming out.
Pepe Le Pew was my favorite.
Well,
I wonder why.
think that was George's favorite too.
But
He had fun playing it.
I was thinking he had a character named Pepe. If I
Yes,
recall.
he had fun playing that character.
But he ends up basically just saying heck with it. It's like, I'm gonna go, I need a drink. He's like, but George, you don't drink. Well, I've been meaning to start.
Right.
But
before he did that, he kind
Stanley,
of he put Stanley in there. He's like, that was, I think he said, or no, it was after.
No, that was afterwards for that. But yeah,
Yeah.
he was like, how would you like to host your own show? Okay. And he just kind of wanders onto the soundstage.
Right.
As he goes to the bar and orders the blueberry daiquiri and Bob orders the beer. I do like the comment that's like, why didn't I get an umbrella?
Right.
He gives like him the drink in this tiki glass, and they find us like, hey, he's coming back on the air, which is not, by the way, the typical audience that you get for a children's show like that.
Right.
But apparently everybody is.
That's just showing how popular it was, I guess.
I mean, this is one that's kind of out of the ordinary because I can't really see how this show would be that popular, but apparently it was. And he, of course, so Stanley is like really hitting the stuff as the new head of the show, and he gives this weird impassioned speech about, life is like a mop. It makes very little sense, but apparently everybody's like rapt attention to this thing.
Well, enjoying it at least.
These floors are dirty as hell. I'm not going to clean them anymore.
And then they cheered.
We got a nice little network spoof there. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. Of course, they see that and they're like, "Oh wow!" and they rush back to,
And then it's that thing where you were saying, where it's like, "How would you like to do this every day?" It's like, "Hey, can I still be the janitor?" It's like, "Yeah."
Oh, great! I'm going to go clean the bathroom.
He had his own priorities in life, and that's
right.
Janitor. But apparently this show really takes off and everybody's writing it. I think it's like, it's like, no, I don't think he's married.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think he went to Harvard.
Yeah, I do think he went to Harvard.
Yeah.
Actually, knowing Weird Al's sense of humor and the writing in this, it would not surprise me if he had a Harvard degree somewhere back there. But this gives George an idea. It's like, you know what? If we just had a few more shows like these, we could clean up. And that's when we start to get like more of these like mock shows. Now these I get mixed up as to when they appear.
Well, we get the schedule.
First one is the Karate Kuni. With the Price is Right type.
And you have Raoul's Wild Kingdom, which is one of my favorites on there. Is like, the turtle is nature's suction cup. See? He stinks. And meanwhile, they're looking at like, where'd you get this guy? I thought you hired him.
I looked at Tammy because I've got a rare slider. And it was like, no, I am not doing that to him.
That guy, absolutely, what he was doing was horrible and horrifying, but it was also pretty funny. It was like,
where he takes the ant farm and he's like, they really hate it when you do this. He shakes the ant farm. He's like, see, they're really mad now.
Well, first he talked about how long it took them to do all that. It's like, yeah. And also, we mentioned Town Talk. I love the part where I will admit I was amused by the part where he interviewed the local head of the NRA, and the guy's like, "Yeah."
That's where they had the special news break in there.
Guns don't kill people. I do.
And then you got the thing where this lesbian Nazi hooker is abducted by aliens and forced to go on weight loss programs. We'll just see later. But which is an interesting group of people, really, if you think about it. We don't see many people that fit those categories, but they must exist. But you have a lot of interesting ones there. I mean, you have the poodle teaching poodles how to fly, which is probably one of the more disturbing jokes that should not make anybody laugh. But I would be lying if I said I didn't.
Poodles are jerks.
It's like, hey, we're teaching poodles how to fly. Fly! Sometimes it takes a little while to get started. It shows where the poodle's falling down from like the third or fourth story apartment and this pile of poodles laying down on the ground. Meanwhile, both George and Bob are just staring like.
Did you hire him?
Well, yeah, they do that. The practical jokes and bloopers and strip solitaire and some various ones. And this is so they, and at first they're getting some mild attention, but RJ ends up ignoring it at first because he's PO'd that his son didn't get him a Rolex.
Yeah.
And one of the other jokes there is you got the guy in the cowboy hat with like the weird like tail on it, and walks in there and it's like, take that ridiculous thing off. So he takes off his mustache.
Yeah, I like it. Spirit. I'm sorry, buddy.
But they don't really. He's not like all that concerned about it because, well, I mean, why should he? Again, I'm not sure about the order of these. We also have Conan the Librarian, which has
awesome.
The thing is like, these are a little overdue. And he's like, slash.
Yeah, those would be that would be a better world, wouldn't it?
That was yeah. It was just like when he said Conan the Librarian, I was just like, oh, okay.
What was it? It was like, you mean you don't know how to use the Dewey Decimal System?
Lift up the average person who's asking where things are. But no one uses that nowadays, so it's kind of they've got computers to look that up now. But that one and Gandhi 2. I admit Gandhi 2 may not have aged well, but I still find it hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny.
Where they change Gandhi into a basically blaxploitation type action hero. It's like, well, he also knows how to party. Give me a steak, medium rare. And some guy says, hey, Baldy, there's only one law. His law. He takes out the giant machine gun and starts raking the whole restaurant with bullets. But any thoughts on any of that? I think that's all of them. Did that get pretty much most of the... I mean, we had the town talk where he's looking up Al Capone's glove compartment and the lesbian Nazi hookers and all that stuff.
Did you see anything about the Wheel of Fish?
Yeah, Wheel of Fish, where the guy, that was one of the first ones that they did, where he gets to do the "you're so stupid" line, and you could tell that you just broke her heart by saying that. Because you see that smile on her face with the box, and as soon as it's revealed it's nothing, that smile just drops off her face.
Yeah.
That's where I have the "you're so stupid" line from when I used to be able to play clips on this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Stupid. You're so stupid. She could have brought home a red snapper. Instead, Al ended up giving away all those fish. They're all real fish that they put up on that board. They had them on ice. They put it up there briefly. They put them back on ice, and they gave them away to all the little kids that were there. It's It's like, because they all got to meet Al. Al said hi to them and gave them a free fish. And that wasn't in the movie. That was actually the real life behind the scenes. They are expensive fish. A red snapper is a very expensive fish.
And I'm sure.
Like that, geez, that would be pricey. Well, they find out that they're not just doing well; they're actually number one. That they're not just look like they're going to make money, but that they're the number one station in town. Which at this point does get RJ's attention. And he ends up calling, George's uncle, who has not long from that, the Let Me Be Your Hog song is playing. And believe it or not, the real song from the soundtrack actually does cut off at that exact same moment. That's all they have on that one. There is no more to that song. And he calls to say that none of his horses came in, that he owes $75,000. And he has to get it by in 2 days. That's when he does take his hand off and puts the meat cleaver on it in cash.
Yes.
So RJ is then seen measuring the station because he's going to own it. And right before his uncle gets out, George manages to call and tell the aunt, who forces him to actually give George a chance to earn the money. So they establish a telethon. And because the telethon is actually doing well, RJ hires his people to put Stanley on ice for a little while. And it proves that Stanley is a very annoying hostage. But seeing
they didn't know what they were in for.
Oh yeah, I did forget about the love bombing that he did with his former girlfriend, with Terry, where apparently he broke into her apartment and filled it with balloons and that giant neon sign.
Like I said, he went all creepy stalker there, but apparently it kind of worked.
Well, he'd been leaving disturbing messages on her phone.
Yeah.
But apparently during the telethon, something just won her over, and she decides she's going to talk to RJ herself to try and convince him under his good nature. Something else that happened was that Philo had actually installed a spy camera in RJ's office. So when she's trying to talk to him, we get to come back to that later.
We find out what he really thinks.
But as they're doing that, they're kind of stuck trying to figure out what to do because they're not able to get this going. And Stanley, they make the mistake of having him see that his mop is there.
Oh.
So he breaks out and tries to escape. But Philo does catch him on camera in the office and tells George, who comes running after him. And that's when we get our Rambo parody.
Right. Complete with a very, very, very fake-looking muscle suit.
Kind of reminds me of how Hot Shots Part 2 did it.
A little bit. Hot Shots Pardue did it better, but yeah.
Well, they had longer.
Right. But they also had Rowan Atkinson, and he was perfect in that role. It's not very cold. Is this filtered?
I mean, the part that I did find hilarious at the end is where the guy shoots him. he grabbed the bullet in his mouth, he chews at the bullet, and then shoots it and basically blows the bullet.
Right.
Blows him up.
That's about on par with that Rambo parody we watched before, where he's walking around just randomly finding bazooka shells. And
Rampage, Turkish Rambo.
Right.
And of course, then after blowing up the Channel 8 helicopter, they then start blowing up all the world's landmarks, just, I guess, because.
Yeah. For shits and giggles.
And he does an okay Rambo impression there
Mm-hmm.
before he comes out of his daydream and realizes they've got guns on me.
Yeah.
But they are saved by Cooney and his friends, who do another joke that doesn't quite hold up, but kind of does at the same time, where they jump out and they say supplies because they're in the supply closet.
Mm-hmm.
This has them return with Stanley intact. Any comments about things so far? The Rambo scene or the or any of the stuff up to there?
Not really. It is interesting. Like, I don't know if you went into too much detail about how they had Stanley locked in the closet because he was annoying them and everything.
Oh, I thought that was
When they let
funny.
him- when
Don't
he
you like
sees,
Bonanza?
but like he's just meekly going along with it. But when he sees the mop, it's like suddenly he has all the strength and motivation he
That's a
needs.
cartoon moment. That's that Popeye, the Sailor
Yeah.
Man moment.
Popeye the spinach moment.
He just
Yeah.
breaks right out of his. It is interesting that he takes him until he is being carted back with a blindfold on, tied up to the as a hostage, to realize, wait, you guys aren't from the pizza place.
Right.
Because he was going on about what things he likes on his pizza.
He kept going on about those anchovies, man.
I am not a fan of anchovies on pizza. Anchovies aren't bad, but to me, they're so salty that you put too many of them on something, it's just salt block.
Yeah.
But some people like
I don't
them.
like anchovies in
It's
general.
just salt block.
But he gets them back, and they look like they're about to make it. Of course, one earlier scene gets called back, but we'll get to that in a minute. While they're doing this, it looks like the time is about to run out, and Big Louie is there. So RJ is like going to gloat about that on stage.
Before that, because RJ does show up to kind of wreck them at the end, but I think before that is when he goes on the airwaves to try to make
that was actually no, you're right. That was before. Yeah. He goes on to try and rectify the situation because he was talking about because Stanley was talking about how he was kidnapped. So when he's about to tell him this side of the story, they then put on there and his lovely sermon.
Well, he says something like, "I have an important message to share with you," or something. And that's where Philo flips the switch and takes over the channel.
This community means as much to me as a slobbering pile of dog snot. He even offends Whistler's mother.
Yeah.
There's one advantage to talking to a room full of idiots. It's that I know I've got them exactly where I want them.
What was the description? He said something like, if you take the combined intelligence of this entire town, it would be, I can't remember.
Enough intelligence to tie your shoe.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's a pleasant description. I'm sure all your viewers will love it.
Which admittedly he dives for cover as soon as he sees that air. He's like,
That's definitely a megalomaniac.
Mm-hmm.
well, he didn't think he was being taped at the time.
No, he definitely did not.
He was just
And
trying to let Terry know that appealing to him was not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
and when he was trying to say his message later, I bet you he was quite surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes back to hit him a little bit later on. So he's gloating at the end because he has won, so he's not quite ready to give the money over yet. But our resident bum looking for change has actually decided to give them just enough money to get them over
Mm-hmm.
the edge,
Well,
so they pay
he's
off bigly.
Oh,
He's actually an honest bum.
Well, yeah, I mean,
To be fair, because
he asked for change.
he was
actually gets
asking
the
for
change.
change,
yeah,
which he got change, and then he changed it for $1
yeah.
the
Thanks,
first time.
And he asks RJ for a change, and he gets a penny, but that turns out to be a little different.
Well, he explains that at the end, which
Yeah.
is why I was kind of like, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, he's got a penny. He's like really happy to get that penny.
Real quick, I don't know if this was mentioned. I had to step away for a couple of minutes because the cats were being. But we were talking about some of the shows on the channel, and one great one that we get to see. I was just flipping through the quotes, and I was reminded of Philo's show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Philo, and welcome to Secrets of the Universe. Today we are going to learn how to make plutonium from common household items. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sure that would go over well on the airwaves.
I like that one.
sure.
I was like, oh, cool.
I'm
They coulda used
I'm
that
sure
Back to the
Doc
Future.
I'm sure Doc Brown was paying attention.
I mean, there were funny little scenes. Like, you had the scene where they're sitting on the park bench, the one bum and this blind guy, and the blind guy keeps turning the Rubik's Cube. This it? Nope.
Oh,
But I don't know why, but I'd always thought that was like cards, like he was trying to do a card trick. But no, it was Rubik's Cube, which is even funnier in my opinion.
right.
But since he's able to get the money to Big Louie, he's able, while RJ is on stage, his uncle signs the station over to him, which they say the station's ours. RJ gets mad. We had an oral contract. I'll sue. It's like, blow it out your ass.
Right.
As people tell him what they want, I think Whistler's mother knees him in the groin.
Yeah.
The FCC is like,
Dryer. Well,
Yeah.
her character shows up to RJ and is like, well, oh wait, no. Right before that, the FCC shows up.
because there's like, I was here to tell you about how your license has expired and it's up for renewal. Normally, this is just a fine, but you really impressed me with your with your talk over here. So we're going to be revoked from. I was like, we're revoking your license.
Right.
You're on Channel 8 is off the air. Then she comes on.
You are effectively now off the air.
Right.
And they have the turnaround where his son is running there. Is like, Dad, and he gets tripped and falls into the mud, and it's Noodles like, oopsie.
Yeah. And that was when the bum came up at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah, and tells them about like, thanks, Mister. You
I got the quote here. Hey, I know you. You're the guy that gave me that double die Denver mint penny. Oh, thanks a lot, mister. That thing was worth a fortune. When I cashed it in, I had enough money to buy a whole bunch of shares, and I got me a real neat watch. It's a Rolex.
That's the watch he always wanted, so he started crying.
Yes.
And George gives Stanley a special trophy, which is probably one of the more unique. I guess Stanley is one of the few examples of this. Best was it janitorial staff and TV star.
Something like that.
And I mean, of course, Terry takes him back and says that she would like her to be a part of some of his little imagination
Adventures.
things. So they do a scene from
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
And then on that, like, tomorrow is another day. And it's like,
yeah, the very last scene, not the best scene that comes right before that.
No, which is normally in our ender, which is sad that we can't do that. But hey, you know, if anybody here wants to forward us $500 so we can get on the regular stream card again, then I'll pick it up again.
Oh, okay. So here's RJ's rant, apparently. This community means about as much to me as a festering bowl of dog snot. You think I care about the pea-brain yokels of this town? If you took their combined IQ and multiplied it by 100, you might have enough intelligence to tie your shoe if you didn't drool all over yourself first. I can't stand those sniveling maggots. They make me want to puke. There is one good thing about broadcasting to a town full of mindless sheep. I always know I have them exactly where I want them.
Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh.
Yes. I can't imagine why that upset people.
Sadly, there's at least one individual I could think of that he could have a slip like that, and none of his people would care.
Yeah.
But that ends UHF essentially.
Mm-hmm.
What did y'all think? Anything about the plot, or any of the kind of weird jokes, or anything that we may have missed that you wanted to run over?
Well,
like
I could
said,
definitely tell that was a rubber suit underneath his Rambo posterior.
Well, yeah.
when he went and rescued Stanley.
Well, like you said before, there are a lot of things that you might not catch on first viewing. You know, little random sight gags, little random quotes, little random jokes. Like, there's a lot of them scattered throughout. There were a few that I remember that, like, as I was watching, I was like, oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. And I was like, maybe I should be taking notes.
Because there are all those hidden ones. Like, I had forgotten again about that one with the guy doing the Rubik's Cube on the bench.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Is this it?
Oh.
And it was funny because it was like he would do like two moves, and then, is this it?
Well, yeah, you got to make sure that he's, on the right track.
Yeah.
You talk about the long way to do a Rubik's Cube.
Right.
Because there are Rubik's Cubes for the blind that indicate the colors for, like, Braille symbols on the little cubes. But I guess if you want to do it that way,
right,
it could be done.
Have at it.
Did y'all talk about the kid that got the marble and the oatmeal and the prize was water right out of the fire hose?
No, I didn't do that one. I did find it interesting that the people in with him was an older woman and an older man in a suit.
Right.
I guess they could have been like grandparents helping him dig through the oatmeal.
Right.
But knowing Al, they were actually also looking for the marble.
All right.
I did think that was unique.
Right? That was also one of those cruel humor jokes.
Well, I think that was like,
yeah.
Yeah. But,
see, I'm
trying to remember because there was some really fun those fake the show names that we didn't always get to see the shows. There was one, was it like the World of Dirt? I think was one of them.
World of Dirt, Druids on Parade, Volcano Worshippers Hour, things like that.
Actually, I read that that was a nod to high school, I think. Like he actually
Fun
started
with
a
dirt.
volcano. What's that?
It was fun with dirt.
No, the volcano worshippers thing was like I think I read that was like a nod to Weird Al's high school days or something, where like he actually started a club just to get in the yearbook.
Well, he actually sent in his first song to Dr. Demento when he was 16.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I could see him starting a volcano worshippers club though. That seems logical.
So, what about, I guess, production?
Okay.
I mean, I thought the production was pretty impressive for the time for 89.
Right.
I mean, it was they had a lot of different sets, a lot of different makeup, a lot of different wardrobe changes.
Mm-hmm.
But what do y'all think? I mean, I actually even like this little thing where he's with the model train set around him. Because they start blowing it up on him as he's talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very Gomez Adams there for a moment.
Yeah. I could see that guy getting on well with Gomez Adams. I thought it was well done. I mean, like, it was not perfect by any means. And actually, a weird parallel with this movie. This was, I guess, one of Orion Pictures' last movies before they went bankrupt. Like, they were already on the way down, from what I understand. So, I guess they did a fair job budget-wise, given what they had going on otherwise. But
so
Al was still relatively young when he did this one too. I think he was still in
What's
his
that?
20s. Al was still in his 20s when he did this, I believe.
in his 20s?
I want to say, let me see.
Yeah,
He
I guess.
was, let's see, Al was born in 19 something. Let's see here. Normally they put that right up there, but they did not. Okay, they were born 1959. So 59, 69, 70. So he would just have been turning 30. Maybe probably was still 29 when he was doing this.
Seems logical.
When this was released. So he's probably 29 when he was doing this, but it may have released around the time he was 30.
I think they filmed it in 88. So, yeah.
Then he was definitely 28, 29 when he did this. So, yeah, he was younger than any of us right now doing this.
Yeah.
But I thought he did a good job with the production. Any other words on production?
I think for spoofing some of the scenery, I thought he did pretty decent on the production. I mean, I did like his Indiana Jones beginning. He definitely tried to do it almost exactly. Like the original, although he did it with his own flair.
And obviously, that Rambo muscle suit must have ate up a big part of the budget. Obviously.
Well, the idea is it didn't have to look all that real.
Right.
I mean, shoot, they had the whole thing where it's like he just shoots the machine gun, and then all the people on the hill falls down.
And then the unbelievable part where he caught the bullets, and then did the whole Darien in the mask bit with the shooting the bullets out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That becomes higher caliber. Apparently, blew the guy up entirely.
Yeah.
Well, with that, then there's music. Now, to me, this movie had a pretty good soundtrack overall.
Mm-hmm.
And the soundtrack is actually one of Weird Al's studio albums,
Mm-hmm.
which I'll just go over what's on the studio album, which is Money for Nothing / Beverly Hillbillies,
Mm-hmm.
Gandhi 2, so it has the Gandhi 2 thing on there. Attack from the Radioactive Hamsters from a Planet Near Mars, which is a good song. Isle Thing, The Hot Rocks Polka, UHF, Let Me Be Your Hog, which is how I know that they don't have a full song for that. They just cut it off. She Drives Like Crazy, Generic Blues, which I used to love that one when I was younger. Spatula City, Fun Zone, which is the music they play at the thing where he's driving the fire truck and stuff around. Spam, which a lot of people buy Spam. And The Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota, which is one of his rambling story style ones about going to see the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota.
Well,
and we also
have
have background music by John Duprez.
Yeah. To me, I love the soundtrack, and I do think it's worth buying, which I guess because I did buy it and I still like it. It is an awesome soundtrack album. A lot of those songs are not in the actual movie, so you have to think about that. But I mean, UHF is a good song. The Beverly Hillbillies one is a fun song to watch. Like I say, a lot of the others are not in there, but I still liked it a lot. What are y'all's thoughts on the soundtrack?
Well, I thought it was interesting. I haven't listened to the soundtrack. I honestly didn't think there was a lot of songs besides the Beverly Hillbillies one that was actually enacted in the movie.
Of course,
so I wish that
UHF was played in the credits.
It plays over the end credits, yeah. And then, like you said, some of the commercial jingles obviously play for the commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said before, I was surprised that the movie didn't have more music. I was surprised it didn't have more songs, and slightly disappointed. But I do think that for what they had, the music worked well, and it's pretty good times.
I think some of the songs that are on the album were supposed to be in the film, but they had to cut them.
I think I read like the original cut of the movie was about an hour longer, and they ended up just cutting it down, and they got it.
Like I say, this was an excuse for him to do a bunch of movie and TV parodies.
Right.
Yep. Now, I did want to say that my first CD ever was Weird Al's The Food Album.
Oh, good one.
Good.
So, that was my introduction to Weird Al, and Spam was actually on that. So having Spam on the soundtrack of this is pretty cool. So
I don't remember that one, to be honest. I
Spam is the place where I live. Spam is think about nutrition and go to the store.
I was going to say, I remember the song Spam by Say Ferris, which is a lot of fun and sounds like a Weird Al song. It's not. Spam's pink and it's all Spam, made in Chernobyl, Spam.
See, for me, one of the first songs I really hooked onto for Weird Al was Lasagna, which was on the food album. It was on Even Worse.
Well, like I said, my brother got
stuck in the closet with Vanna White.
well, like I said, my brother got the Weird Hair Day or Bad Hair Day album. So, of course, Amish Paradise and The Night Santa Went Crazy and I think that was the album that had Since You've Been Gone, right?
think
Yep.
Still one of my
Since you've
favorites.
been gone,
Yeah.
well, I've been chewing on a clear mouthful of cod liver oil.
Actually, what's
Yes.
funny is that when we did our senior spoof night,
Right.
where we were all supposed to dress up as the teachers, and I was the principal.
Mhm.
In that, we actually sang "Since You've Been Gone," and I did the lead for that one because I was in the choir at the time.
Nice.
In those days, Jake could vouch that I did sing once upon a time.
I feel almost as bad as I did. When
I guess
you
I'm
were
the only weird
still
one out
here.
because I didn't get into anything of Weird Al.
Oh,
And, well, and like I said,
He's gump. He's gump. He's gump.
Yeah.
He's kind
That
of
was-
square.
well, that was one of them. I was going to say that special that my brother had. I think, if I remember correctly, I think the songs on the special, and again, each of these was paired with the original. So there was the Beverly Hillbillies, Money for Nothing. There was also Gump, Headline News,
they'd have had
like,
that.
like a Surgeon, Amish Paradise, Fat, Eat It. And I think there was maybe two more, maybe one more. But so those were kind of my introduction as well. And I always loved Headline News, although I'm sure most people nowadays, if they didn't grow up in the 90s, they wouldn't know what they were talking about.
That was relevant. Back, shoot, I'm not even sure they would have gotten the musical thing because that particular Crash Test Dummies really isn't all that relevant today either.
Even though it's a good song.
It is
But,
a good song.
yeah. Then the but yeah, it was that was an interesting assortment of stuff on that one, definitely.
I remember watching a special with him on TV, and he was going to Michael Jackson to ask him to get permission to do another one of his songs because obviously he's made his money on Michael Jackson covers. Then Michael Jackson ends up turning into a werewolf, and he's like, "Oh, get me out of here!" It's
now, if I remember correctly, I think in Weird, didn't they play it that Eat It was like an original song of his?
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah,
I need to actually rewatch the that Weird Al mockumentary. Because I do have the complete Al. It was a 1985 mockumentary chronicling his fictionalized early life and career from birth up until 1985.
Okay.
And so I guess in a way it's very, very similar, but done fully as a mockumentary. Where Weird was more of a parody of those dramatizations.
It was a spoof on biopics, basically. Yeah. But, all right.
That's it for UHF.
Are we doing favorites?
No, not at all. No.
Okay, good. Good to know.
So let's go into some favorites. Of course, favorite scene, favorite character, and we'll say favorite comedy song. That way, for those like say Tammy who haven't heard much Weird Al, you could still get some comedy. I'm sure you know at least one comedy song that you could go for. So we'll start with you, Jake.
Favorite character? Probably Philo. He did amuse me. There were a few others I kind of liked, but he was probably my favorite. And favorite scene? There, like I said, there's a lot of little moments scattered about that amused me. Little like random things that you could blink and you miss, like the falling rock sun and that kind of stuff. I just was amused by. But as twisted as it is to say, it might not be far off for me to mention the scene that had me going, he threw him out the window. But Philo talking about making plutonium from ingredients at home was pretty good too. And seeing RJ get his comeuppance was nice, because he was such a rotten rat bastard. The part where Philo played his own words against him, and then when the guy came up and bragged about the watch, it was like,
he just was having a bad day at that point.
Right. Yes, that's one way to put it. And favorite comedy songs. Oh man, there are so many. There's so many good ones. And again, it's not just Weird Al. If I were to say Weird Al, it'd probably be a tie between it would be a toss-up probably between Since You've Been Gone, The Night Santa Went Crazy, and Word Crimes. Those would probably be there's a lot of good ones, but those I think are the ones that immediately come to mind. But then you got the Arrogant Worms. You got like the Carrot Juice's Murder is a absolutely wonderful song. And I still say We Are the Beavers should be the Canadian national anthem. And then there's this really cool guy on YouTube, Thomas Wilde Esquire. He's got some pretty good ones too. And I've No More Fucks to Give is a pretty solid song. And then yeah, I'll go with those. And we did A Mighty Wind not long ago. There were some good comedic songs on there as well. Spinal Tap, they've got some good comedic songs as well. There's a lot of them out there, but we'll go with those.
All right. Well, what about you, Tammy? I guess favorite character, favorite scene, and just favorite comedy song.
I guess I like Bob, because he just, he's tried to back his friend up for the whole movie, and be there, and figure, he's just trying to be a good friend and good guy throughout it all. He gets hit in the face with a frying pan, gets
right
and everything, so he's just kind of like, he's like there as the backup, but he doesn't say and do a whole lot, but he's there, So
Seinfeld would be odd in that he doesn't really do a lot of slapstick comedy, but I would be entertained by it.
Right.
But favorite scene, I get a kick out of the ramble. So I've heard a few Weird Al songs, but I never really got into it. I know I've heard Eat It.
Just eat it.
And I think I heard something one called Like a Surgeon.
Yeah.
That's why I said comedy songs, just in case, because there might have been a funny song you've heard before that you might have enjoyed.
I would suggest Pat McCurdy.
Pat McCurdy, for us here in Wisconsin, he's basically considered an entertainer. He's got all different, he's usually plays the festivals and stuff.
But his main haunt is actually Moe's Irish Pub downtown.
I guess.
He does a song that you always tell me about a French leader,
Oh,
Let's just go ahead and say it, David.
Napoleon's penis.
So yeah, he's basically an entertainer, is what he is. So
well, we learn about new things all the time.
Yes.
So, what about you, Dave?
Okay, favorite character would be Stanley. Stuttering Stanley, stuttering Stanley. Anyways, um, he he was a goof in here. He wasn't straight up asshole like he was as Kramer. But I actually liked him as Stanley in here. Favorite scene, I would have to say when Weird Al was Rambo, definitely. Comedy songs, I've got a few of them that I like. There's one. A lot of the ones that I know came from the Dr. Demento basement tapes.
Very appropriate for this
So
particular subject.
Yeah.
Because Dr. is very close to Weird Al. Got him a
there's
start.
we eat kitty cats. That's we eat kitty cats. We eat kitty cats. We eat kitty cats. Definitely enough for lunch or something like that.
Fish heads. Roll.
Very good.
They're coming to take you away, haha. They're coming to take you
Oh, I
away,
know that
hee hee, haha, to the funny farm
Yeah.
where everybody is goofy all around. I like that one.
Yeah.
I
We
have
all
a
know that.
until thing. Was always good. Star Trekking and all those fun things.
Star Trekking.
Hmm.
Definitely Pat McCurdy, a local. I do like a lot of Weird Al's stuff. White Nerdy,
Mhm.
Anakin. There's definitely a lot.
There was a time
Yeah, he was a big fan of Star Wars. He was looking forward to the fan.
Oh!
And he was
Oh
big.
God, Saga Begins. How did I forget that one? That's probably my favorite Weird Al song.
Oh, the Youpers, which with the 30-point buck. Gotta mention that one. The Youpers are a Wisconsin. I would have to say if you want a redneck song, that's like the redneck song. And one more favorable mention is this one about I believe it was the Redback Spider song, where it's basically a guy singing about time he sat on the toilet and he accidentally sat on a redback spider.
Sucks for him.
Oh, and found a peanut. Sorry, got to mention that one. There are so many verses that me and my sister made up for that. For that, it's not even funny.
Anybody want a peanut? Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. There's a lot. There's a lot of them out there.
I want to mention a couple more things I forgot. I'm going to have to say the spatula scene should have been one of my favorites too. That was just, that commercial cracked me up. It just and
Anyone know the Camp Granada song either?
the which one?
Crap Granada. Yeah, that was a good
Hello,
one.
mother. Hello, father.
Yep.
And I also want to give Brandon some credit for writing some really insane songs too. You know, Ben Me, Rich Man.
He's got some really cool poop songs, I gotta tell you.
The Revolution is on Reddit is a good one. Yeah, it's a
Yes.
solid one. Yes.
Not as funny these days because it's
Not as funny, but it is good. But yeah, Bend Me Over, Mr. Rich Man was pretty funny. I know there was another one that's escaping me at the moment, but whatever.
Well, my favorite scene is that whole scene with the Bobo the Clown, where he mistakes the butter cookies for dog biscuits. Actually, the other way around. And the favorite character, oddly enough, is R.J. Fletcher because he plays it so well and so over the top. It is just great.
So deliciously evil.
I have actually a few comedy songs that have stuck out over the years, just to bring because people don't really talk about a lot of these bands.
Right.
One, to give Dr. Demento some credit, is there is a guy named Tom T-Bone Stankus, and he wrote a song called The Existential Blues, which is crazy, weird, and funny all at the same time. If you haven't heard it, that's well worth a listen, because you can look up almost any of these on YouTube or whatnot these days to hear them. Mm-hmm. Riddle Me This for the song I'm a Cow, which I know that Jacob's at least heard.
Yes, I know this one. I'd forgotten about that one. And then, of course, Arrogant Worms had I Am Cow.
I think not to be mixed up with the Arrogant Worms I Am Cow, but this I'm a Cow is interesting, about the farmer who gets off a little bit too much on milking the cow. Actually, oddly enough, because I'm one of the few people who went in and tried to get their album, I do have I have a signed photo of them, and with them saying, "Yeah, we're rocking it all the way to Emporia," because I was living in Emporia at the time.
And since I keep quoting it, I know you played the song for me first, although I guess it's like an old-timey song. But was it Trout Fishing in America that did the version of Threw It Out the Window?
Oh,
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Dr. Demento.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and threw it and broke his crown and threw her out the window, the second story window.
There is What We Do on Christmas, which I do play most of the holidays, by Adam and His Package, which is about what Jewish people do on Christmas. Mm-hmm. Which is hilarious. That song is. And then finally, one that Jacob actually introduced me to, which I am surprised you did not put out here, which is a song by the Rednecks called "The Sad But True Story of Ray Mingus, the lumberjack of Folk Ross," and has never. Oh God, that's a long title, and has never strived to exploit the so far undiscovered areas of the intention to bodily intercourse from the opposite species of his kind during the intake of all the mental conditions that could be derived from fermentation, or harder than your husband.
The song title is longer than the song. And the lyrics cannot be repeated on this. It's great. I love it.
And Sex and Violins is a great album, just in general.
Sex and Violins is a great album. It is.
I do have to mention one more mentionable, and that would be the great Jack Black with "Fuck Her Gently." Sorry. It's just such a good song.
Tribute's a
You
good
don't.
song too,
Oh,
but he's
yeah. Tribute's a good one, but
Yeah.
"Fuck Her Gently" is a funny song while being sung gently.
Yeah. There's also another one that I was introduced to through YouTube was John LaJoie. Everyday Normal Guy was really great, but he ended up getting he got to write the songs for Lego Movie 2, the second part, and Not Evil. Still say that was robbed of an Oscar nod. Not Evil is one of the great villain songs, and it's flipping hilarious.
And a lot of mainstream ones, which is why I opened it up to a lot for Tammy, because I know you had not been listening to a lot of comedy singers. But a lot of mainstream bands also would do a comedy song. I mean, shoot, Aerosmith did Big 10-Inch Record, which is a hilarious song, by the way. Or Queen when he did Delilah, which is a song about his cat.
Or Boris the Spider.
Boris the Spider's a good one. That's an awesome.
So a lot of fun ones there. I mean, there's a lot of good comedy stuff out there. You have entire groups that are there. I mean, we've mentioned a few. The Aquabats is a good one, group wise. A lot of fun groups that have been out there. So take a listen, enjoy these types of things, enjoy parody music, enjoy comedy music. And I guess I am done, because even next week's movie is not mine; it's Tammy's instead. So I'll hand it back to you, Dave.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for following along with us for this particular film. I am glad that I finally watched it. Glad that I have it in my collection, although I can't find it at this moment. But I'm glad that it was on YouTube.
It's Schrodinger's.
It's just not YouTube. It wasn't on YouTube. It was on Tubi. But damned if they kept adding ads, the fuckers. I swear it was 6 ads, and then suddenly it was 7, like the rest of the movie. It was like pathetic. But and I don't really want to pay them to get rid of them damn ads either. So they can screw themselves, rightfully so. But anyways, that being said, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know down in the comments what you thought of the movie, what you thought of our discussion, and we'll see you next time here on Inside Movies Galore. So, next week's movie is Tammy.
Batteries not included.
Yay!
Cool.
All right.
So bring your batteries, everyone, if you have to. And we'll see you next week here on Inside Movies Galore. Everyone say good night.
Good night, everyone.